Are you ready for some ho-ho-ho, Lucy? Okay. Let's decorate the Christmas tree. This is our main Christmas tree in our living room. Our house is really not that big. The rooms aren't that huge, and the only spot upstairs where we could put it is right here. It is a 7.5 foot tree, and it's 12 years old, so next year I'm looking at getting a new one because it sheds, and nearly all of the lights on this tree did not work. I had to take them off, which took about 3 hours to unclip and unhook all those lights and put new ones on. One thing I learned a few years ago, a little tip about lights on your tree, is that if you really want it to be lit really nicely, you need a minimum of 100 light strand per foot. So moving on, I'm going to show you how I decorate this tree, and this is going to be a new theme this year because we have remodeled our house a little bit. We have white wood ceilings now in our living room, and we built the barn door pantry. I'll show you a few of those things. And I kind of changed out my kitchen to look more farmhouse. So I'm going a lot lighter on this tree. When I think of farmhouse, I think of wood stuff and metals, like, you know, the coppers, the golds, the tins, the pewters, all of that. So that's kind of where I'm going with this tree this year. For the first step on my tree that I always do after I've got it fluffed and lights on and ready to start decorating, I like to put in some Christmas balls that are shiny toward the inside of the tree. It's a whole lot easier to do that first before you get all the other stuff on. So let me do that and I'll be back. There are a lot of ways to do ribbon on a tree, and honestly, this is my favorite part of the decorating. I have narrowed it down to 4 different ribbons. All of them are wired, so I've got this nice stripe, a darker caramel colored burlap, this airy kind of snowy ribbon that has a tiny gold edge, and then my special accent will be Merry Christmas ribbon. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start with my stripe. It's going to be used the least because it's the boldest. What I'm going to do first is fold it in half and come from the inside out and cut a cute little V. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 with the caramel colored burlap. I could do this after the fact, which I will have to do on the tails, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you that first step. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to come down about 6-7 inches or so, leaving a tail, and I'm going to pinch it together with my fingers. Next, we're going to work with all 3 ribbons at the same time. I'm going to do the same thing with the burlap. Come down about 6 inches or 7, pinch it together, and hold it with my finger. And lastly, the same thing with this snowy one. I don't measure You can just kind of see what you think looks good. You can go longer. You have a bigger tree, you might want to go longer. Now, I'm going to actually use the branches on the tree to tie. So I'm going to come in here where I think it'll look, where I want it, where I think it'll look good. Kind of coming in deep into the tree. I'm finding 2 branches that I can just twist together, and that's going to hold them in place. Now I can move these where I want them. Okay, now I could loop all of them at the same time, but I'm going to do them separately and I'll show you why. I'm going to take this, the burlap and the snowflake, grabbing them at the base where I've tied it, get them nice and straight, and I'm going to kind of bring them up like this. And I'm going to come down about 18 inches. Pinch it together. And the nice thing about wired ribbon is it kind of tells you where it wants to go. So you see how it's kind of leaning this way. So that's good. So I'm going to come back down in here. I don't want to pull it too tight, because if I pull it too tight, then it looks more like straight lines. So come down in here, find 1 branch, and just twist it. I don't need to use 2. So there. Now I've got some nice loops. Keep this one out of the way for right now. Now I can take it again from where I tied it off. Come down about 16 to 18 inches, pinch it, and this time I'll go in a little deeper into the tree. Pinch that off, not pinch, but twist it off. I'm going to cut this off. Leave me a nice little tail. Go from the center out to make my V. Okay. Here, center out to make my V. And bend it the way I want it to bend. With this one, I'm going to pull it up again, about 18 inches. See how it's kind of wanting to swoop like that, or I can do it like that. Come in here and I'm going to find a branch. If I had a newer tree that had more branches, it'd be easier, but I don't. Maybe next year. Okay. And I think I'm going to do this one again. Come in, pinch it off. I think I'm going to go a little longer, because I need to tuck it back in the tree and it looks like it's pulling too tightly. So I'm going to go back here, find a branch, twist it. Now on this tail, I'm going to do something a little fun. So I'm going to cut it a little bit long, and I'm going to cut it straight. Not do the little V, because this time I'm going to roll it up tightly. All the way to where it's tied off. And then I'm going to grab that center piece and pull it out. And it makes the cutest little drapey little fluted thing. With the Merry Christmas ribbon, I chose the Merry Christmases that were stacked like this versus long ways, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in between, cut my V, and I'm going to cut where I have 2 Merry Christmases. So I have 2 Merry Christmases there. I'm going to come in the middle and pinch it together and pick a spot to put it where I think it might look good. Like right up here. I could put it up here with the tails, but I think I'm going to come down in here on this one right here and come in exactly where I've tied it off and twist it in. So, just a little spot here and there.